Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Joe. Joe is from Missouri in the USA. So let's see what Joe has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello, how are you, Joey?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
Sure, not a problem. It's
So,
been a pleasure.
so how's your day been so far this morning?
It's been good. I kind of slept in today, and then I woke up, and then I got your text message saying that you were running late, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll go to the pharmacy and get prescriptions, and then I'll cuddle with my cat for a few minutes. So
Oh my God, who's that?
that is Oreo. He is my cat. I've had him for about 5 or 6 years now. So
Oh, what a fluffy, beautiful cat.
yeah, he is cute.
Wow. And it was a gift or you bought it? You got it?
I adopted him from a feral cat rescue locally. So
Oh, very sweet. Joey, tell me where you're from?
I live in High Ridge, Missouri, which is close by to St. Louis,
Okay.
Missouri.
That's the place where you're born and raised?
Not High Ridge. I was born and raised in another town called Arnold, which is another city close by to St. Louis. Same county.
I see. And all your family, they live as well in High Ridge or not?
Some of my family does. My family on my father's side does. My mother's side lives in like Arnold, St. Louis.
I see. And what do you do for a living, Joey?
I work at a hinge company. They do hinges, door closers, basically door hardware.
I see.
And, go ahead.
What do you like the most about your job? Tell me a little bit about your job.
I'm a tech support consultant, so a lot of customers call me about product questions, or they have issues with installing or whatnot. So I'm there on the phone during my shift, or let's say if a job needs keying, I'll do that. So we do keying jobs, and then we do quotes, and we do all sorts of stuff in our department. So
I see. Great. And what's the best part of living in your city?
Cost of living is really great. A lot of stuff is really free. So if you go to the zoo, that's a free resource. Museums are free. We have a really great Metrolink system. We have the Arch, which is really one of the biggest monuments in the world, according to Guinness Book of World Records. That probably is updated, but I don't know. We have a lot of cultural, like a big multi-pod of cultural different things. You know, we got restaurants, we got different events. We have a huge Greek event that's probably already happened. But we have Pride every year at 2 different locations. So yeah.
Oh, very good. Right, before we start our journey within the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself.
I guess I'm a perpetual student, so I take classes whenever I can, so I try to learn as much as possible.
Yeah. Wow. And what you're learning right now at the moment?
I'm going to improv class. I'm taking classes at an improv comedic theater downtown. So pretty cool.
So it means that you do some acting as well.
I'm not an actor by trade, no. I mean, I took like a theater class in high school, but I didn't. I'm not really professionally an actor now.
All right. Joey, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Sure. Okay.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question, okay?
Sure. Okay, cool.
Right, before we start the game, during the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, I always can change, okay?
Okay, cool.
By the way, am I saying your name right? Joey?
Joe.
Joe. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad that I checked that with you, Joe. Right, the first question is there a dream you always had?
I've always wanted to write and be a writer, but I've always never had enough time. And even when I try to write something, I get writer's block really bad. So, and then I try to think of like what can I say in a limited time space, and then how can I formulate a story like that's so big and so concrete, kind of like George R. R. Martin or Stephen King or whatever. Those people can like write out like massive books in like years, but I just it doesn't it goes over my head, I guess.
But when you think about writing, what's the ideas that comes to you? Is more kind of like a drama, or which kind of stories that more or less you write about?
Well, I mean, I've got like a lot of ideas in my head. Like, let's say I want to write a horror story, or I want to write, let's say, like a romance novel. But it just you just have to like make sure that the pieces formulate with each other to make a well thought out story, I guess.
I see. All right. Next question. Let's do it.
Sure.
Okay, next question for you is, if you could give just one advice to your current president, what would you say? Just one.
Don't listen to the haters, I guess, because there's a lot of haters, unfortunately. And we live in a current climate situation that it just everybody's so divided between each other, and people get into such petty arguments. So just keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen to the haters, and just keep moving forward, I guess.
It's interesting you saying that, Joe, because I had a few guests on the show from the US, and some of them, they mentioned that as well, that the country, it feels divided. So you have the same feeling as well?
I do, unfortunately. And I feel that a lot of people around here are just so, I feel that they have been neglected as far as their own political or personal goals and whatnot. Some people just have lost their jobs and whatnot, and then they tend to blame politicians for their downfall or their misfortunes, I guess. And then it goes to other people, and then it gets a little personal, I guess. So and then they tend to blame people's differences, like gay people or the LGBTQ or minorities, I guess. And it tends to get a little rough, I guess.
I see. Yeah, I think I think I'm originally from Brazil, and last weekend, last Sunday, we had vote for president. Yeah, and the country is literally completely divided as well. And and I understand your point. See, there are so many things involved, and some of the people, they don't understand much about it, and people, they get a bit confused as well. And there are so many things happening right now after when the vote happens. And but anyway, there's always a controversy behind. There's always some, as you said, some people, they don't know what's going on, and it can affect other people as well.
And unfortunately, a lot of these controversies just seems to be like completely made up. Like,
yeah,
I just just not too long ago, I read about conservatives being angry over high schools, and they think that people are putting kitty litter boxes in the restrooms. I mean, that's not true. That I mean, logically, you would think that that's not true, but a lot of people tend to read these blogs or
Yeah.
these posts, and they think it's totally true. And I don't know. It just seems a little wackadoodle to me.
Anyway, it's always politics. There's always a lot of fake news around and things that people they tend to believe sometimes.
Misinformation. Yeah. Yeah.
Next question. Let's do it. Right. Before the next one, tell me, as you mentioned about being gay, how is being gay in your town, in your city? Do you feel safe? Do you feel you can be your truly self, or it can be a bit challenging?
Well, it's easier when you go to the bigger city, because that's more, again, like a multicultural multi-pot, and the most people are more liberal in around that region, and they don't really care. I live in a red part of the state, so it's more difficult. So I kind of don't. I'm not open around in this city, but like when I get more to like St. Louis, it's more common. So
I see. And do you tell me how was growing up being gay for you? Was challenge?
it was challenging. I grew up in an evangelical household, so and then I also grew up during the 80s, which, there was the AIDS crisis and whatnot. So it was a lot of needless hate, and politically it wasn't a good time to be around, because you have Ronald Reagan, who didn't want to even refer to or even acknowledge that we existed. So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge.
I see. And the day when you came out, did something happen, or you just felt like, okay, that's the day when I'm gonna be my true self, and or it never came out, or just people start realizing genuinely about your sexuality?
My father knew when I was young. He did tell me that he um, um, accepted me, but my mother, it took a while. It took longer. You would think that your mother would be more accepting, but it was the complete opposite, unfortunately. So,
all right. Next question for you is, if you're not yourself, would you like to be yourself, and why?
Yeah. I don't think I would have it any other way. Yeah.
Sure. Cool. Ready for another one?
Sure.
Let's do it. Next question. Okay, Joe from Missouri. Next question is, if you could have been in a moment or event in history, yeah, which one that would be and why?
Oh, wow. I would say the 1960s civil rights era. I would like to meet Dr. Martin Luther King. I went to Washington, D.C. in 2016, and I actually saw the monument, and it was epic, and it was beautiful. And to meet him in person would be amazing.
I see. And why you wanted to be at the moment there? Why is that?
Because it was the moment of liberation. It was the moment of that historic change to stand up for your rights, I guess, and to be in that moment, to know, be like kind of like a fly on the wall, to see that action taking place. It would be really great.
All right, good one. Next question. Let's do it. All right. Next question is, what is your spirit animal?
Oh my God. I would say the cat. Absolutely. I love cats. Those are my favorite animals whatsoever. I mean, I do like dogs too. Don't get me wrong. I've had dogs, but I prefer cats. They're amazing. They're sassy, and when they want to be, um they I got mine that literally was craving attention from me almost 24/7. And then he just gives me this kind of look when he lays down, like this sassy look, and it's just it's so cute. So cats, definitely.
You always had cats, like growing up?
Growing up, I did have a cat, yes. Unfortunately, when the area where I lived, they tend to get run over. So I had two or three cats, and then they stopped getting cats, and we had dogs instead.
Uh-huh.
So, um, but then when I moved out, I took my cat with me, and um, I've always had cats, so I've never had a dog.
All right. Next question, Joe. Let's do it. Okay, before the next question, tell me something. In your opinion, what's the state of Missouri stands out compared with other states in the US? There is something special about the state, something unique?
I would say a lot of it historical. You have um, Mark Twain, who's a writer in the United States, and he lived in Missouri. So you got a lot of historical landmarks here, like from Mark Twain, and then you have caves. If you like to do cave hunting and cave um, cave crawling, I guess there's a lot of caves here. Let's see what else. I mean, it's just a lot of different historical um, landmarks and different places to go to. I mean, it is pretty special. And plus, we're in like almost in the middle of the country, so we're not coastal, but there's still a lot of different places to go to.
I see. All right. Next question for you is, what is your favorite holiday season of the year?
Halloween, absolutely. I used to love trick or treating. We used to go to my aunt's house, and we go down to the neighborhood and get. I have like a huge garbage bag, and that by the time we're done, that whole entire huge garbage bag was full of candy.
Oh my
And
God.
it would take like at least 3 or 4 months just to get through that whole entire bag.
Oh
So,
my God.
um, just different dressing up as different costumes and whatnot. It's just a really cool time of year to um just to be funny and to be scary and to be scared and whatnot. So it's really cool. Plus, we have Six Flags, which is right down the street for me, and it's like a theme park, and they have like a Halloween celebration every year, and that's fun too. So
Did you dress up this Halloween last week?
I did not know, unfortunately. I wanted to. I dressed up as a cowboy. I dressed up as a clown. I've dressed up as a zombie one year. I've dressed up as different stuff. So
And the regard, as you mentioned about when you were a child, because the religion you've been brought up, was okay for you as a child to to dress up to celebrate Halloween?
um there were different like camps in my church that didn't like Halloween very much, but
Hmm.
my mother was okay with me dressing up. It was okay. Um just as long as that we didn't like totally believe in like witchcraft or whatnot. So um but it was cool.
Cool. And when you think about your childhood, Joe, what's the best memory that comes to your mind?
Best memory. I would say one year during Christmas um I got a yellow tricycle, and I was like maybe 3 or 4, and I rode that tricycle around like Mario Kart. It was fun.
And you have siblings as well?
I have one sister. She's older.
See, all right. Right, so I have 3 questions left for you. Let's do
Sure.
it. Before the next one, Joe, tell me something. As you say about your job that you like, but what's the most challenging part? There is any?
Well, before I worked at this job, I worked at Apple for 7 years, and I was tech support. So a lot of my job at that job was tech support on, phones and computers. I didn't have to do hinges or whatnot, and did not work in the door hardware industry at all. So you have at Apple there you have very limited amount of product. You just have phones, you have a computer, you have maybe tablets or whatnot, and like limited models. Every year you release a new model. But with this job, you have like so much stuff. You have a lot of product, and you have a lot of inventory, and you have different variations of that product. Way more colors and sizes, and it's a wider spectrum of product line to understand and to deal with. And that was one of the biggest challenges at work, is just to get used to all the different products.
See, all right. Next question is, what is something you always wanted to do, but you're scared of?
I've always wanted to do bungee jumping, but I'm afraid of heights.
Do you think you're gonna do it one day?
I might do it, or I might do skydiving. But I would be so scared. I would be still be in the plane while everybody's jumped out. But I don't know. I mean, they train you and they have safety. I understand that, but it freaks me out. I mean,
I'm the same boat as you. When I think about skydiving, I'm just like so scared to get there and go like, okay, I'm sorry, but I cannot do anymore, and I cannot go back because it's already too late. You know what I mean? And bump jump is the same thing as well. I think one day I will do, but I'm not ready yet. I think I'm not like mentally ready for bump jump, but it must be amazing. I think I might do one day, but not yet. I don't think about like soon.
Well, I mean, I served military for 11 years. I did Missouri National Guard, so it was stateside, but still, when every once in a while we had different missions, and we had go inside the helicopter, and those helicopters have no doors. They don't have no doors at all. So you go in, you're strapped in, but you're in a harness, but you still see everything that's outside, either to the left or the right of you. And it freaked me out at first. I was praying to the Virgin Mary when I was in the helicopter. But after that, you just get used to it. But still, it's like, I don't know if I could still do it. It freaks me out. Have you had any dreams at night that you were falling?
When I was a child, when I was younger, teenage, I used to have more, and I heard once that when you have those dreams, it means that you are growing up. Somebody told me that once, but I had, yeah, I don't know why, but somebody said to me when I used to, when I was like a teenager, and as a child, like 7 years old, 8 years old, I remember I had so many dreams that I was falling from like a mountain or somewhere, and I remember waking up, like hold myself like this, like my hands like all like that. I remember so many times happened to me. But saying that, something that sometimes when I dream that it freaks me out, it's where I'm trying to drive but the car doesn't move. That's something that always freaks me out during my dreams. I cannot never get the car going. I don't know why. There's something there.
Interesting. Huh.
It's so weird because I wake up like feeling so frustrated because I don't know if it's something connected with my past or something connected with my life, but when every dream I had that I'm in a car and I'm trying to drive, the car never moves, and I like during the dream I'm just pushing myself and get frustrated. This feeling when you want to do something and it doesn't work, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, I always have those dreams. Weird, very weird.
Yeah, I had a dream. Sometimes I have dreams where I'm in high school again, or either I'm teaching high school or I'm in the class in school. And then I had something very similar to yours, where the school was out, it was over, people were gone, and this one of the administrator ladies was looked at me. I'm like, why are you still here? Everybody's gone. So I like try to go out of the building to find my car. Couldn't find my car. So I found my car, got in. I couldn't find my keys.
Crazy.
So I tried to start the car. The car wouldn't start.
Do you have
It was
those?
interesting.
Do you have those dreams as well? That's like that's it's like a repeat. You have the same dream like for a long time. I have the same dream sometimes that I used to when I used to be younger, and sometimes they come back. It happened to you as well.
Sometimes yes, but they're like in different buildings. And I can't explain it. It's in different environments or different buildings or whatnot. Um, I flew a few weeks ago. I flew to Tampa for a work conference, and last night I had the same dream that I was like flying in an airport going to a work conference, and um, I was at the airport and I flew out, and then I got to the airport and I didn't know where to go.
Or a nightmare.
And then I managed to find myself in a shopping mall, and in the shopping mall there was a roller rink. Like it was a roller rink, and I tried to find out, well, how do I leave the shopping mall? And the shopping mall actually got held up. It was um a terrorist in in the roller rink,
Oh my.
and I try to like low crawl outside of the actual um store, the exit, and they caught me, and that's when I woke up. It was weird.
Two questions left for you, Joe. Let's do it. Okay, next question for you is: do you have any nicknames?
I used to be called Joey. That was kind of weird because you said Joey. I'm like, oh, that was my nickname growing up. Um, but yeah, that was me. So like I haven't been called that in like years. So
I think when you have a short name, I think it's a short name already. I think it's easy for people just to say Joe. It's easier, or Joey, as you said.
yeah. My full name is Joseph.
Oh, there we
That's
go.
not my full name. So I prefer to be called Joe, but when I was a kid, they called me Joey. But yeah,
Is anybody in your family still call you Joseph or not? Everyone calls you Joe.
every they know who I am, so they don't even call me. I mean anymore.
Ready for the last one?
Sure.
Last question. Let's do it. Okay, Joe, but before the last question, as you mentioned about you spent 7 years in the military, yeah? So
About
tell
11,
me,
yes.
yes, so 11 years.
Yeah.
Wow, so tell me a little bit about the journey, how everything started, and what do you miss the most of that period of your life?
Um, well, it was kind of funny. I went to college and then I had all these student loans that I couldn't figure out how to pay back. I mean, college is really expensive. It was just for my associates, it was $40,000. I had all this debt starting to pile up, and I'm a pretty big guy. I'm not gonna lie. I was also pretty big at that point too. Um, so I was wanting to join the Navy at that point, but I weighed too much. So I had to go through a whole entire journey of losing about 100 pounds um, just to get in. And at that point, I still couldn't get into the Navy. I took the ASVAB and I slept through it and I got a high score. But once I talk to like other people at work. There's one lady that was going to the Missouri National Guard, so and that's part of the Army Reserves. And I asked her, well, maybe I could join in too and do like a specific type of job there. And yeah, I went in, got accepted, and went through basic in South Carolina, Fort Jackson, and then went to the additional training down in Fort Lee, Virginia, and then came back. I mean, it was interesting. The military has a different culture, quite unlike anything else, and it was a great experience.
What do you miss the most of that journey in your life?
Quite honestly, I miss the comrade and the fellowship, I guess.
And being gay was okay, or you're not out there?
Well, when I first joined, we had unfortunately a law called Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and that I joined in 2006. Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed back in 2011. So there was a period of 5 years where we can talk about it. So after that, there was a little bit of a blowback from my teammates about, you know, Don't Tell being repealed. It was like very minor, but I still didn't, you know, actively say who I was or whatnot. So, and plus, I don't think people really cared anyway to begin with. So, for the most part, yeah. So, I wasn't out.
I see. Okay. Last question for you is, what is your least favorite chore?
Least favorite chore? I would have to say vacuuming. It is the worst chore ever because my vacuum clogs all the time. And then I got the cat and he, and that's the worst part. I hate vacuuming.
Always being your least one?
Yeah.
Interesting. Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Sure.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Family.
Friends.
How about money?
Stress.
Life.
Happiness.
One word for sex.
Love.
And one word for love.
Peace.
Politics.
Strife.
Religion.
Angst.
Fear.
Doubt.
Friendship.
Happiness.
Desire.
Illusion.
Regret.
Regret. Pain.
Success.
Money.
One word for wish.
Wish?
Yeah.
Pinocchio.
One word for happiness.
Enjoyment.
One word for Arnold, the city where you were born.
Schwarzenegger. I guess.
One word for High Ridge, the city you live in now.
Tiny.
One word for Missouri state.
Show me. Show-me.
Okay. And the last one now, USA, one word.
patriotism.
Right. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, tell me the most beautiful thing about Joe, and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What your best friend would say?
The best thing about me is that I guess I'm open-minded. What I would need to work on is that well, it's a disability of mine. I'm autistic, so I'm very shy and introverted when you first meet me. So definitely, I think that being more sociable is something I need to work on.
See, right? I'm glad that even you are shy, you took the challenge for the show to do the magic box. I'm glad.
Dang.
Right, let's play now Joe and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Joe, you can ask me a question now.
What was the worst subject you took in school?
Ooh, the worst one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it just made me think now. I would say physics. And I'll tell you why. It was so complicated for me to understand those numbers, letters all together. You know, and even actually, I think my teacher at the time, before high school, during high school, he was teaching as well in the university. Yeah. And I remember the way he was teaching, it was so, the way of explaining, for not just me, but I remember my colleagues were like, my God, we cannot understand what he's saying. I don't know, because he was so, the way he was explaining, everyone was a bit lost. And we were talking sometimes we were telling him, I don't know, sometimes I do forget that you are teaching children and not like adults in the university. We were making a joke with him sometimes. And he knew it, he was aware. And I think I think physics was something that I never liked it. And I remember my scores also always like I to go through to the next year. But yeah, I never failed, but I've never been the best one, and I never enjoy it.
Well, that's
how about yours?
Math was never really a good strong suit. But when I learned foreign language, I started learning French in high school, and like everything, once I started learning like a language, learning became much easier for me. So like math is kind of like a language; it's a language of quantities. So learning that as learning a language made it a lot easier for me. Plus, going through my English, that made it easier. And then but like anything that's spatial, like geometry or drafting. I took a drafting class and got a D, and I hated it. The teacher didn't like me at all whatsoever. When I had to get to the closet to get some supplies, he locked me in the closet. I don't know if it was accidentally or on purpose, but I think it was on purpose. But yeah.
Math as well, math like chemistry, those it never been numbers for me, never been my favorite topics in school. But anyway, I managed to finish, but it wasn't easy, I remember. Did you enjoy the interview, Joe?
Yes, I did.
Thanks so much for taking the time, for being sweet as well, and sharing your point of views. But before you go, if you can share a positive message, something that you live by.
Just be nice to each other. And I think that a lot of people have lost their art of talking to each other. And I don't know. Just be nice to each other. That's my message for the day, I guess.
See, thank you so much, and we keep in touch. It was a pleasure to connect with you. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
And take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website www.williamandthemagicbox.com and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.